I was a good Asian student, or I got into Harvard, and I got massively depressed because I was just literally, what was this all for? Why did I sacrifice this much?
In my life, I'm literally holding resumes, a stack of them, so that I can go in person to places and say, are you guys hiring?
The Harvard number that changed everything, 23%. That is the share of Harvard MBA graduates from the class of 2024, who were still unemployed 3 months after walking across that stage. Not community college graduates, not state school graduates, Harvard Business School. One of the most expensive, most competitive, most elite institutions on the planet. This was not a rounding error. It was not a bad month. According to Poets and Quants, job offers at graduation had already plummeted by nearly 6 percentage points from the prior year, hitting only 86.5% of the class. That is the highest jobless rate Harvard MBAs have seen in over a decade. And it was not just Harvard. Wharton, Stanford, Kellogg, elite MBA programs across the board were watching their graduates struggle to land offers in 2024 and into 2025. This matters because for decades, a Harvard MBA was treated like a golden ticket. You paid your $200,000 in tuition. You put in 2 years of grinding. And you came out the other side with consulting offers, investment banking roles, and 6-figure starting salaries lined up before graduation. That is simply not what is happening anymore.
I'm Caitlin, I'm a university graduate, and I applied to 647 roles before I got one.
Nobody will even give me an interview.
I basically am not able to get a job.
I really don't understand how people are finding full-time jobs. I really don't.
If this is the reality for someone with a Harvard degree, imagine what it looks like for millions of other graduates right now. The graduate unemployment rate nobody wanted to see. Here is where the data gets uncomfortable. For the first time on record, the unemployment rate for recent college graduates has risen above the national unemployment rate. Let that sink in. Historically, having a college degree meant you were more likely to be employed than the average American. That relationship is now flipped. According to new research covered by CBS News, the unemployment rate for recent graduates has ballooned to 6.6% over the past 12 months, while the national average sits around 4.2%. The New York Federal Reserve found that college graduates between ages 22 and 27 hit a 8% unemployment rate in the first quarter of 2025. The Wall Street Journal called it the worst job market for graduates in over a decade. Job growth itself has collapsed. The United States added an average of only 49,000 jobs per month in 2025, the lowest pace in over 2 decades outside of actual recessions. And according to a report from Finance and Commerce, hiring of workers aged 25 and under has dropped by more than 45% in recent years. Companies are not just slowing down, they are shutting the door on young workers entirely.
By a lot of people that I was going to get a job right out of college, and then all of a sudden, there's no jobs.
New research finds now, for the first time ever, the unemployment rate among recent college graduates has exceeded the national unemployment rate, ballooning to 6.6% over the past 12 months. Oxford Economics' Matthew Martin.
This is kind of goes against what you would expect. Those with higher educational attainment usually have better employment prospects than those with less educational attainment.
Martin's team believes companies are eliminating formative entry-level jobs, the work handed over to artificial intelligence.
Something structural has broken in the American labor market. Ghost jobs. You've been applying to nothing. You spend 3 hours writing a cover letter. You tailor your resume. You hit submit. Then nothing. No call. No email. No rejection. Just silence. You check the listing again a month later and it is still up. You apply again. Still nothing. Here is the brutal truth. There may never have been a real job there at all. Ghost jobs, job listings companies post with no actual intention of filling, have taken over the American labor market. According to a May 2024 survey by Resume Builder, 4 in 10 companies posted fake job listings in the past year. 3 in 10 companies are currently advertising for a role that does not actually exist right now. A Forbes analysis found that possibly 1 in 3 to 1 in 4 of all active U.S. job postings on sites like LinkedIn are effectively ghost listings. Since the start of 2024, job openings have outnumbered actual hires by more than 2.2 million every single month, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics data. In 2019, there were 8 hires for every 10 job postings. Today, there are only 4. The rate has literally cut in half.
Of ghost jobs has increased quite dramatically over the past 5 years. We're seeing a decline in the rate of hires to job postings, and that rate has basically halved over the past 5 years.
Why do companies do this? Some want to build a talent pool for future roles. Some want to appear to be growing during hard times. And disturbingly, 62% of companies admitted they post ghost jobs specifically to make their own employees feel replaceable. The ATS robot that decided you were not qualified. Even when a job is real, your resume may never reach a real human being. 98% of Fortune 500 companies now use applicant tracking systems, known as ATS. These are software programs that scan your resume before any recruiter lays eyes on it. They hunt for specific keywords. They check your formatting. They score you against an algorithm. And if you do not match their formula, you are automatically filtered out. Up to 75% of resumes are rejected by ATS before reaching a human, according to JobScan data cited widely in the industry. 88% of employers in one survey admitted they had lost qualified candidates simply because the ATS filtered out a resume that did not technically match their criteria. One study found that ATS systems auto-reject 89% of candidates who are just 1 year below the required experience level, even if they are otherwise a perfect fit.
So why did I spend $180 on LinkedIn Premium to compete against 847 people for jobs I'm overqualified for and still can't get an interview?
This Wharton MBA graduate ran her resume through an AI tool that gave it a 98% ATS compatibility score. She still got rejected repeatedly. The system is not screening for the best person. It is screening for the best keyword match. Entry level no longer means entry level. Here is a sentence that should not make sense. An entry-level job that requires 3 to 5 years of experience. And yet, this has become completely normal. Out of 3.8 million job listings on LinkedIn, nearly 40% of entry-level positions required 3 to 5 years of experience. A separate LinkedIn report found that more than 40% of vacancies labeled entry-level demand at least 2 years of experience, with 22% demanding 3 or more. A landmark study by Generation, a nonprofit network, surveyed employers across 8 countries including the United States, and found that 94% of employers required applicants for entry-level tech jobs to already have relevant work experience. In the last 5 years alone, the number of skills required on job listings has increased by 20% across the board. And since 2023, there has been a 30% surge in entry-level roles that now specifically demand AI-related skills. Between 2018 and 2024, the share of jobs requiring 3 years of experience or less dropped sharply in software development and finance, 2 of the most popular career paths for new graduates. Companies are not hiring for potential anymore. They are hiring for proof. This creates what experts call a brutal cycle. You need experience to get a job, but you need a job to get experience. There is no front door anymore. The internship trap is a class problem.
I am 26 years old. I told myself by 26, I would have my own house. I would have my own family. I would have my nice little luxury car. That hasn't happened. And at first, I did kind of beat myself up for it. But you know what? It's like the world's changing.
I'm almost 27. If the next job I have, I want it to be my career. I feel like if I go for something like Walmart or McDonald's, which is the type of jobs there is around here right now, that I just wasted all that time in my life for nothing.
Okay, so if entry-level jobs are impossible, the answer is internships, right? Get real-world experience, build your network, get hired. That is what everyone tells you. Here is what they do not tell you. Competition for internships has become absolutely brutal. ServiceNow reported a 50% increase in internship applications. Citadel, one of the most prestigious finance firms in the country, saw a 65% jump in internship applications, and ultimately accepted only 300 people out of 69,000 who applied. That is a 0.4% acceptance rate. tighter than Harvard's undergraduate admissions. And even if you get one, it might not pay you anything. According to data from 2022, 47% of all internships in the United States were unpaid. Half. That means roughly half of students doing internships were working full-time, often in expensive cities, for $0. This is not a minor inconvenience. It is a structural barrier that shuts out anyone who cannot afford to work for free, which is most Americans. The outcomes tell the whole story. Students who completed paid internships averaged 1.4 job offers after graduation. Students who completed unpaid internships averaged less than one offer. In a recruiter's eyes, an unpaid internship carries barely more weight than a short-term service job. So, the system rewards wealth, not effort. If your parents can bankroll your summer in New York or San Francisco, you have a path in. If they cannot, you are on your own. AI is erasing the jobs before you even graduate. This is the part that nobody in career services is talking about honestly. AI is not coming for jobs someday in the future. It is already eliminating the exact roles that new graduates have always relied on to start their careers. Since 2023, entry-level job postings in the United States have sunk by 35%, according to labor research firm Revelio Labs. The World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs Report 2025 found that 40% of employers now expect to reduce their workforce in roles where AI can automate the tasks. A Cengage Group survey found that 76% of employers reported hiring for fewer or the same number of entry-level roles in 2025, up from 69% the prior year. The tech sector, which used to be the reliable safety net for STEM graduates, is now the sector most aggressively cutting junior positions. AI adoption in tech runs at around 25% of companies using it in daily operations, compared to a national average of just 5%. An analysis by Indeed found that junior-level job postings have tumbled and are now 21% below pre-pandemic levels, even as senior-level openings have gone up. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei has warned that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs within 5 years. Goldman Sachs projected in 2023 that AI could displace up to 300 million jobs worldwide. The first casualties are always the junior roles. There are 7 million job openings and nobody is hiring you. Here is one of the most maddening contradictions in the current economy. The government reports millions of job openings every single month. Headlines say employers cannot find workers, and yet new graduates cannot get a callback. How is that possible? Deutsche Bank economist Brett Ryan described this as a low hiring but low firing environment. Companies are holding on to their current staff because replacing is expensive. But they are also not bringing new people in, especially not unproven junior hires. Harvard economist David Deming put it plainly. Young workers are treated like capital investments, and in uncertain times, investments are the first thing businesses cut back on. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis confirmed that hiring in the United States has slowed to its weakest pace in years, while job cuts are up nearly 50% year over year. The U.S. added only 49,000 jobs per month on average in 2025, the lowest pace in over 2 decades outside of recessions. Chris Eldridge, CEO of global recruitment firm Robert Walters, is describing a pattern that is no longer a blip. It is a fundamental restructuring of how companies think about junior hires. The H-1B program and the American graduate left behind. The H-1B visa program was originally created to bring highly specialized foreign talent to the United States when companies could not find qualified workers locally. That was the theory. In reality, the system gradually expanded beyond that purpose. Over time, many companies began using H-1B workers for entry-level tech jobs, the same positions American computer science and engineering graduates expected to compete for after finishing college. Because H-1B employees are often willing to work for lower salaries, businesses frequently see them as the more affordable option. Critics argue this trend has reshaped the early career tech job market. Industry analysts say one of the biggest effects of the H-1B system has been on college hiring pipelines. Graduates entering the workforce now compete not only with each other, but with a global labor pool for the same roles. In 2025, the Trump administration proposed a major policy change: a $100,000 fee on every new H-1B visa application. The idea was simple. Make foreign labor more expensive so companies would be pushed to invest in American graduates. But a major question remains. If hiring foreign workers becomes too costly, will companies hire domestic graduates, or simply move those jobs overseas where labor is even cheaper? Washington is watching, but progress is slow. The job market shift is well documented, yet government action has been limited. In 2025, the Congressional Research Service acknowledged ghost job listings, positions posted by companies that are not actually open, as a growing labor market issue. Despite this recognition, there is still no federal law targeting companies that post misleading job listings. Meanwhile, employment fraud has surged. Reported losses from hiring scams and fake job listings rose from $90 million in 2020 to more than $500 million in 2024. For many young workers, the result feels like a system that quietly changed the rules after they had already prepared to enter it. The data is clear. Harvard graduates, Wharton MBAs, computer science majors. The degree on your wall is no longer a guarantee of anything. The job market has not just gotten competitive. It has gotten rigged. Ghost jobs, AI automation, ATS filters, hiring freezes. The question is not whether this generation can adapt. The question is whether the system will adapt before it is too late.